Disclaimer.
Those of you that are 100% against one-night stands, why? My wife won't let me. Reminds me of the Jimmy Carr joke. Most relationships break down due to bad sex. My last one actually ended due to very good sex, albeit with someone else. I had a brain fart and forgot who Jimmy Carr was for a second, and read this in the voice of a few different comedians, and it felt a terrible joke. Then I remembered, read it in his voice, and it was hilarious. Haha. OMG, I can hear that laugh, lol. How many other comedians would use the word albeit in a bit? A lot of the British ones I could absolutely imagine. Hugh Laurie, David Mitchell, Richard Ayoade. Probably even Rob Brydon. First read that as Jimmy Carter and was like, what? Bad president, good lay. He was a penis farmer before he was in politics. Damn, that's rude of her. She's okay with you having longer relationships though? She's okay with one. Any others weren't part of the op question. People who can do the most intimate thing with a total stranger and don't need to feel any emotional attachment to do it, scare me. I don't like the idea of being so intimate with someone and then never seeing them again. Idea of sleeping with someone I have no emotional connection with just seems so gross to me. I agree. And there is the trust as well. I don't want to get robbed or something. If I were a girl, I'd be worried about my own safety too. I would be a bad person looking to do bad things. Having women willing to come to my place after just a few minutes of chit-chat would make it much easier. I don't find it gross, I just find it sad. Does this happen to you too? That's fair enough from my mostly opposite view, but the threshold for emotional connection worthy of caring effortful intimacy is much lower than the threshold for monogamy and other hallmarks of potentially serious relationships. This threshold can be met over a couple drinks, because I don't have sex on a pedestal. If somebody isn't giving me trash human vibes, they are probably worth my efforts towards sexual satisfaction. It'll never be like two people who've spent 10 years carefully honing their skills at making love to each other, but the vast majority of connections aren't, can't, or shouldn't never go there. That shouldn't mean pleasure is out. For me, sleeping with someone I don't feel a connection with is genuinely disgusting. I can have a one-night stand if I meet someone where I miraculously feel instant passion, but TBH, the one time that happened to me, we ended up dating anyway because of the whole instant connection thing, but otherwise it just really doesn't work for me sexually. It's not even like, meh, this is okay. I find it actually gross. I don't want to look at a random person's butthole. The smells too. I'm super sensitive to body odor. But if I genuinely love that person, I go nose blind to their scent. I'm the opposite. I have been fucked over too many times to try to be intimate without feeling like I'm gonna be tossed aside at a moment's notice. When I know for a fact I'm not seeing someone again is when I'm best at being intimate. Shit sucks. Every coin indeed has two sides. I agree with both points of view, but I, however, sympathize more with yours because I feel similarly to you. Getting emotionally invested just to get emotionally obliterated over and over just saps you of that point of view. I really hope we all find true love one day, whatever love may be for each and every one of us. I hope everyone finds theirs. Okay, so this is a real question. Why not get to know the person before getting too physical? Doesn't that reduce the risk? Sexual compatibility is as important as emotional/romantic/intellectual/moral compatibility to a lot of people. Like, you can reverse the question and it is more valid to a lot of people. Some people need the physical before they can let their guard down or invest the time and energy to actually let someone in. Just different types of vulnerability. I got to know someone for a whole year before, and when we broke up he told me he actually lied about loving and caring about me for 5 years. It's hard to get to know someone when they lie. I never would have done it if I knew the truth. To me at least, that sounds like a lie on his part about never caring for you. He probably said that to hurt you because he was bitter about breaking up and is emotionally immature, or was extremely hurt about the breakup and wanted revenge. I can't imagine many fuck boys would wait a whole year before getting with someone, let alone being with them for 5 years and pretending to care all that time. I'm so sorry. Same thing happened to me recently. So was going to have to move away. When I asked to have a conversation about our options, I was told, well, I haven't had that discussion because I don't love you and never have. I was floored. I asked why he had been telling me he loved me for over 2 years. He responded with, I just missed saying it, I guess. Shit like this makes you never want to trust someone again. To answer the original question, a ONS is completely physical, and I don't feel like you can know someone well enough to truly give and receive pleasure when you know nothing about that person's likes and desires. So I've never had any desire to have one. Get some therapy. This is pretty dismissive. The assumption they aren't in therapy and the presumption that therapy is a cure-all to intimacy issues is at best glib. Yup. I'm in therapy. I have a lot of things I'm working through. My intimacy issues probably won't be addressed anytime soon, and even if they are, who knows if you can even fix them. Seems to me like people who are quick to suggest therapy like this have never actually been themselves and only do so to obfuscate moral judgment. We went from therapy is only for psychopaths and just suck it up pussy don't go to therapy cures all, and anyone who doesn't go is a psychopath. I can't stand the pop scientification of therapy. Damn, I definitely thought they were talking about having only one nightstand by your bed. My answer was gonna be, symmetry? Can you tell I've been with the same person for 12 years? I see no problem with two people giving and receiving pleasure from each other for a night, but I understand everyone views sex differently. I don't do them because I'm demisexual, it literally doesn't work for me. The polarization gives me anxiety. I don't like the feeling of someone who doesn't even know what my favorite color is or last name having seen my genitals. It always seems fun leading up, but it feels so strange and lonely the day after. Agreed. It's just unfulfilling. I wish I could though, because relationships apparently aren't my strength. I wish I could as well, or at least just jump into something. I've had plenty of opportunities, but I just can't. I have to know someone for a long time before I develop feelings, and usually by then, they give up and move on to someone else. It doesn't help I used to be religious to a fault. You can't learn what you like or dislike in a relationship if you never go into one. So relatable. You describe me so well. I once had my mom ask me about this because she never did it. I said, well, it feels like ordering from McDonald's versus home-cooked meal. For sure McDonald's is great once in a while, but it can't be your whole diet because it just feels kind of sad, and nothing beats a good menu that's been worked on for many years. I'm not sure that I know what's my wife's favorite color is. Been married 21 years. My wife's favorite color has changed so often, I think it's safer to say that I know her favorite palette. I like to feel a connection with the person I'm having sex with, not just do it for the sake of getting off. I tried it once in college. Hated how I felt after. After college I fooled around with some casual friends a few times, and that felt more enjoyable because I knew them and liked them as people. There was some actual attraction there. I think a lot of it for me is feeling safe. I didn't feel a sense of safety and trust with the person I had a hookup with. Trust is the key ingredient, for me. I had some less than stellar experiences early in life that resulted in physical trust issues. So for me, I have to know them and trust them before I feel safe enough to get that physically. Close. Is it impossible for you to connect with someone in a few hours? Oh, definitely. It takes weeks, if not months. The risks outweigh the benefits for me. One night stand doesn't always guarantee fun, so it's not even a 100% there. Also, the added risk of STD, unwanted pregnancies. The person can be a creep, criminal who may decide to kill, harm, stalk. The person can also be just weird. It may be fun for a second, but these maybes listed above can ruin someone's life. Hence, not interested. Also, I love my husband, he is very, very sexy. Why a one-night stand when I can have an all-night stand with 100% guaranteed fun and virtually no risks? Safe dick. Agreed 100%. The risk-reward ratio is ridiculous. You let 10 people in and 9 of them could be perfectly fine, normal, or even great people. But all it takes is one person to be psychotic or malicious to ruin your life. Not worth it. The worst shags I've ever had have all been one-night stands. Sex with a specific partner is just better. You know what you're doing, they know what they're doing, and you can easily reach mutual satisfaction. When it comes to rougher stuff or kinky things, there's established knowledge of what's going to get your partner off better, so they're going to try get you off better along with what is and isn't okay. Not everyone likes the same stuff, so I tend to find casual sex to be boring. The condom came off and I got chlamydia. I'm never having sex with a rando again. Edit, I'd like to add while I'm here and remember, I have friends who do the causal hookup thing all the time and never get STDs, and the one time I go out in years, take precautions, and I ended up with one. Even my mates were like, fuck that, it'd just be your luck. I've always gotten tested after every sexual encounter, and I'm glad I did, because sussing shit out sooner than later is good. Get tested, for the love of God. Also, the sex has always been shit, so now I'm not sleeping with someone unless I have a connection with them. It's scary. I know nothing about this person, he could have STDs, be a weirdo, etc. Just know. I still respect anybody who does it, your body, your choice. I would love to hear from women who have had satisfying one-night stands with men. How common is it? Not very common, because generally people have ONS for their own pleasure and don't have as much vested interest in the other person's. For me, achieving an O can be more work than for the guy, yet it's rare that they take the time for that to happen or have the knowledge or skill on how to make it happen, even if they do care. I have, but technically not one night stand, because we saw each a few times after. It's possible if you have a strong connection, good convo, like their energy. I think some people automatically think one night stand you have sex right away, but if there's a lot of talking before, and kissing can be very satisfying even if you just met them. You could be with a partner you love and jump into sex right away with no foreplay, and can be less satisfying than a one-night stand with someone if you both connect and take your time. Sometimes it just so happens it's only once and you can't meet up again or something. The most satisfying ones are not usually planned though, just happens organically. It was pretty common in my social circles, and it's usually treated as just a nice experience between people that doesn't change their lives. I had a lot of them in my early 20s in college. I'd say 9 out of 10 times they were unsatisfying. I'm sure there were many factors involved in causing the unsatisfaction: age, inexperience, alcohol, etc., but there were a few I'll always remember fondly. Now that I'm in my 30s, it's just not the same. I don't drink anymore, so I'm sure that contributes to decision making, but I just know too much now. I know too well how STDs work in your body. I know how unsatisfying bodies can look and feel and smell when they belong to a stranger. I know so much of what I want sexually, and a one-night stand never fulfills that for me. It's always disappointing, and I rarely get off. Also, I watch and read way too much true crime, and every time I would agree to a ONS, it's like playing Russian roulette of whether you're going to die or not. And if you take that chance, there's so much work and effort that goes into precaution. You gotta tell your friends exactly where you are, which takes out the spontaneity. You gotta have a whole exit plan, so many things to consider, it's just not worth it. It's glorified masturbation, except there's a chance of pregnancy or STDs. We have a cultural fixation on getting laid to the point that a lot of the stuff people do to have sex isn't all that pleasant, makes absolutely no sense, and can only do harm. No feelings, no boner. You can also watch other videos by going to the channel. I will be pleased if you like them.